Good morning and welcome to ASI's Tuesday Morning Show, where ASI's most outspoken editors talk promo products. I'm Melinda Lagos, editor-in-chief of ASI's magazines. We have a happy holiday show for you here today with some happy holiday guests. We have Chris Ruvo,
Hello.
senior writer for Advantages magazine.
Yes,
How
you
are
got
you?
that right. Yeah, I'm great. Stoked for Christmas.
You're stoked for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's good. Andy Cohn is here.
Yeah.
Captain Killjoy, but we let him attend anyway. Who you celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas, so it's been.
I do.
You're just
more Christmas
ending up
than
on
Hanukkah.
eight crazy nights,
Yeah,
and now
that's
you've got
right.
Christmas ahead of you.
I know. I got 16 people in my house on Thursday.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Wow. Another special guest here. We have Nate Kuzma.
That is correct.
Our research director. And you told us that you really wanted to come to the radio show today because you celebrate Festivus.
I do
is that
celebrate
right?
Festivus.
So what do we have to do to get that celebration going here?
Well, the first thing is we have to have the airing of grievances.
Okay,
so
well,
You're
we've
going
got
into
Andy.
dangerous territory
So-
here, Nate.
We've got Andy for that.
How long do we have?
Oh, we have as much time as needed. And then the feats of strength, which I think Andy and Chris can certainly do.
I can lift this.
Oh, okay. And what, you're not offering to do anything for
No,
that?
I'm the Frank Costanza role, actually. I'm just going to judge.
You're going to preside. All right. We've got a good call-in
Just going
topic.
to preside.
We've got a good call-in topic for you today. And this is something, that happens now and then, and it is, how can I recover when an order gets totally messed up? If you have any tips or questions regarding screwed up orders, give us a call at
Can you say
215 screwed up orders.
Screwed up? Screwed up?
How about
Messed up?
Scrooged up offers? Oh, you see what I
scrooged
did
up.
there?
Very
All right,
holiday
when your order gets
of
messed
you.
up, what do you do? Call us at 215-953-4979. If we put you on the air today, we'll give you an ASI prize pack loaded with goodies, including
All sorts of
chocolate.
stuff.
Chocolate, phone chargers,
We have
anything you want.
chocolate. We have phone thingies and cord chargers and
It's really
all sorts of
really
stuff.
descriptive.
Yeah, well, I'm not as familiar with the
You
prize
really
pack
made that sound enticing. Andy.
as our one Joe Haley is.
Anyway, call us 215-953-4979. If we put you on the air, we'll give you the ASI Radio prize pack. Speaking of messed up orders,
Uh-oh.
I order a lot of things online.
I did all of
for
my Christmas shopping online.
I had two really big messed up orders last
did?
night that I was on the phone with, and luckily they're being resolved. But one is I ordered personalized Christmas stockings from Pottery Barn for, with our names on them, right, for all 5 of us. So I get it. And lo and behold, my stocking with my name is missing, but I was charged for it, and it was supposed to be in the box. So we've got 4 family members' stockings hanging up, and none for me.
You know what? 4 out of 5.
So
ain't
there's
bad.
that, and they charged me for it. And then Coach, I ordered.
Wait, how are they making
I
good
called
on
them,
that?
and luckily they have little elves working 24/7 apparently, and
Fortunate.
they're made one supposedly making it last night and
Being
FedExing
delivered
it out.
today?
They promised that it would be delivered tomorrow,
Tomorrow.
which is still tomorrow's.
It's on
It's
time.
right under the wire before Santa gets here, so hopefully it will arrive as they promised.
Watch out for the big storm, though.
Well, it's just rain.
Some
Just
sort
rain.
of some sort of big storm
did
in the
say
country.
You know,
Captain Killjoy,
Santa goes
actually.
through
Yeah.
rain, sleet, and snow, or is that the post office? Either way, I think it's
It's the post office and Santa.
and Santa. And then Coach, I ordered a Coach purse for my mom. It came last night. It was I ordered teal. The wrapping thing said teal, and it was black. So I called them, and someone answered the phone at Coach at 10 o'clock last night and swore to me that it would be shipped out this morning, and I would get it as well. on
That's the way to
Christmas Eve.
handle it.
Yeah, and they didn't even. They said, and don't worry about sending the other one back until after Christmas. You enjoy your holidays. So
Oh, I
hopefully,
thought you were going to say they were going to.
Just
they said,
keep
They
it.
said, "Don't worry about sending it back."
no, it's kind of
That would have been
expensive.
That would have been a special deal.
Yeah, but so anyway, it happens, and certainly the way that people react to it, I was very happy because they immediately apologized and assured me that they would make it right before Christmas, which was
If
the
they
key.
actually make it right.
If they do, then I will be happy. You're right.
Right.
Anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about. So call us at 215-953-4979. Chris, what else is on today's lineup?
All right, we're going to tell you how you can train your customers. We're going to get into marketing tactics that stand the test of time. Nate's going to give us a preview of some state-of-the-industry stuff. I know people are always interested in that. We're going to tell you how you can handle customer complaints without compromising your values, give you some tips on how to be happy at work, go over Mark Cuban's rules for startups, and then we're going to share with you our favorite things.
But first, Andy Cohn's going to deliver the news.
All right, thank you very much. We begin this morning with Top 40 Supplier News. American Apparel confirmed yesterday that it has received a bid from an equity firm to purchase the company. The offer is for between $1.30 and $1.40 per share, which would represent a premium of at least 15% over the company's closing stock price yesterday. Media outlets have reported that the bid comes from New York equity firm Irving Place Capital, which does have ties to American Apparel founder Dov Charney, who was fired by the company last week. Security News Now: Staples, the parent company of Top 40 distributor Staples Promotional Products, admits that up to 1.2 million customer credit cards could have been subject to a recent hack. The retail giant said it suffered a data breach between August and September of this year. Some industry legal news now. Hanes Brands has sued Gildan Activewear, alleging trademark infringement and unfair competition. Hanes claims Gildan's Temp FX brand for moisture control apparel infringes on Hanes' trademark by being, quote, identical to the garments it sells in its X-Temp line. Check out Promogram today for details. Top 40 distributor news now. Halo Branded Solutions announced that Pawtucket, Rhode Island-based Best Impressions has affiliated with Halo. Best sales and administrative staff will now work for Halo, but will remain in Rhode Island. And finally, make sure to check out the latest episode of the Joe Show and Program today. Joe is off for the holidays, but he's left us with a brand spanking new holiday edition of the Joe Show.
Spanking.
Check out that
new.
and more in Counselor Program today. It is spanking new.
All right. Can't wait to see it.
You could get an advanced look if you'd like.
Hopefully he'll be wearing footy pajamas again. That was
I
a
don't think
special
he
treat
dons
this
the
fall.
footies in this holiday episode.
All right. Well, we will
a
have
shame,
to
then.
wait and
It
see.
is.
We're going to take your calls now, 215-953-4979. Today's topic is, how can I recover when an order gets totally messed up? And on line one, we have Andrea. Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning, guys.
So what's your question today?
Well, a recent client order of mine got really, really messed up. The wrong color, wrong SKUs of items were sent to the event. And it was really the supplier's fault because everything was double-checked with them beforehand. But my question is kind of like a what now? I mean, my client's really upset about it, and I just don't really know what to do.
Well, unfortunately, even though it was the supplier's fault, and I believe that you're right in that it was, unfortunately, it's your fault as well. And so you have to take responsibility for it with your client, obviously, since they're the ones that they're basically contacting you. They're not contacting the supplier. So the first thing I would say is take ownership of the issue and, explain what the situation was, not just placing all blame on the supplier, but taking some yourself. And then trying to make good, say that it doesn't normally happen, say that you're increasing your checking procedures and double checking and triple checking with suppliers, and hopefully some of that will win back their trust. You're going to need to prove to them that in the next order that things are perfect, but it's definitely your problem as much as it is the supplier's. But after taking ownership of it with your client, I would talk to the supplier for sure, and try to figure out where the problem was.
And I would say, just add to that, give your client a few options for how you can make it better for them. Don't just say, this is what I'll do. Maybe present a few different things.
Absolutely.
That they then say what works best for you, or how can I make this right for you? And if it's reasonable, do it.
Yeah, I mean, solutions, like Chris said, so any kind of solutions you can offer would be great. I would certainly, if it's doable, I would offer to get the right products to them as quickly as humanly possible. And if it's not a timely event that they don't necessarily need them, then maybe they'll still take them. But and that might be an order that you simply have to eat. You're paying for that yourself. But that's how you can start to win back the trust.
All right. Well, Andrea, I hope that helps. Thanks very much for calling. Stay on the line for your ASI Radio prize pack. And on line 3, we have Kevin. Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
What's your question, Kevin?
Well, I have a customer that's a good customer, and one that's I've never really had any problem before. But there was a recent order, and they disputed the imprint, claiming that the imprint was incorrect. But I sent a proof, and the imprint was, detailed on the proof. They either didn't look at it or, didn't give it enough attention. So I want to make this right, even though I feel it's their fault. I mean, how can I make this right without calling them on the carpet for?
And they are aware that you sent them a proof?
Yes, they're aware, and they really didn't want to acknowledge it too much, which makes me think that maybe they just didn't check it.
They overlooked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's a common issue that distributors often have, and I know that we've talked to people in the past that that say that they won't put through an order with a supplier until a client actually you get some sort of approval. It'd be best to get it in writing, through an email.
Right.
But even if you have to get a verbal approval, just so that you have that somebody on the other end of the line saying, "Yep, we saw it," and it's good to go. It sounds like that might not have happened in this situation. Certainly clients, they're often to blame when it comes to messed up orders, and it's something we hear a lot. It's not, you can't really put the blame back on them because that's not going to work. But trying to improve that approval process probably will go a long way towards that not happening again. But it's definitely an issue that distributors face. I think you just need to work through it with them and I would almost even delicately forward them the email that had the proof in it.
I was going to say that you do have to take it on the chin to a degree,
right?
But you should make them. You should at least, whether they want to accept it or not, you should
aware.
at least present that. Hey, here's look at the date on the email. I sent this to Joe Blow, and he said, he received it. It was received. So I made an effort here to make sure you got the right thing, and this is what I sent you. So they should know that you took that you were conscientious and you took that step.
Right.
Now, you said they're
that.
not happy with the imprint, but are they willing to accept it, or are they asking for some kind of concessions, or do they want you to redo it?
Now they basically, they do want it redone.
I think if it's wrong, you'd probably, and if it's just wrong, then you have to redo it. And I would redo it, as kind of a good faith thing, assuming that the order is, if it's not a humongous or terribly expensive order, I would redo it. And throw some cost their way possibly. But like Chris said, I think if the effort was made on your part to get that approval and they just missed it or it wasn't done, then, I think that there's a good delicate way to do that. It doesn't have to be confrontational, but say, hey, we're going to work together to redo this. I just want, you to be aware, maybe it got in a spam filter, maybe it, got filtered out somehow, but you did send this on, X date at X time.
And to a certain point here, I also think this is an opportunity, especially looking at this from a long-term point of view. I've been on both sides of this, both in market research and in other industries. And what I've seen is that if this is handled correctly, it's actually a very good opportunity to build the relationship. Because if they know that they were somewhat responsible for this, as Chris mentioned, that actually helps out because the higher that goes and the more people that know that, how you handle that can really be incredibly beneficial in the future.
I would say too, a minor point, but just something that's tied up with all this is, if you have a good relationship with that supplier, maybe lean on them and explain the situation a bit because they might work with you on cost where it doesn't have to be such a hit for you to replace that order. I mean, I know it's kind of common sense, but just don't forget to do it.
All right, great.
Well, hope that helps. Thanks so much for calling, Kevin, and have a happy Festivus, right, Nate?
I will. You too.
All right. Take care.
Festivus for the best of us. For the rest of us. Excuse me, the rest of us.
We have a couple of Facebook comments on this topic, too. Do we want to... Andy, do you want to share some of those?
Yeah, we had, there's some good conversation on Facebook regarding this, mostly as far as solutions. But it all essentially means taking blame and not putting it on others. But Eric Campbell writes, the first and best thing is to be honest without playing the blame game. The customer isn't interested in your internal issues, and exposing them can only make you look worse. Stand by your quality and your product, offer options, and be honest. That's, I think, what Chris was getting at. People don't want to hear necessarily why it happened. They know it happened, and the order got messed up, and the fact that it happened is causing problems. So what are the solutions to the problems, and how can you make it better? I think that's the issue.
David Garthwaite on Facebook talked about that too. He said he was in a restaurant the other day, and one of the customers was telling the waiter his food tasted bad. The waiter kept asking what he would like for him to do instead of offering suggestions. The customer got up and left, most likely never to come back. But that's an important point. I mean, I think putting it on the customer to solve the problem is certainly not the solution.
No.
Come up with a couple reasonable scenarios that you feel comfortable with and present those to the client. And, Nate, as Nate said, that would go a long way, I think, to helping build a relationship when you're a problem solver as well.
Absolutely. The couple callers we had, the issues weren't necessarily their fault. It might have been a supplier's fault, or it might have been their client's fault. So those are interesting cases. You still have to take responsibility and figure out ways that situation can get
help
better.
Solve it for sure.
But there's a lot of times where it is your fault, and you're in the middle of it, and the supplier might not have gotten the PO on time, and the client may not have approved on time, so something's late. That's your fault, and then you need to fix your own processes to make sure that those latenesses don't happen.
And besides fixing it, if it really is your fault, I think you need to apologize and take responsibility, and not just kind of sweep it under the rug.
That's
or
step
say,
one, yeah.
I don't know how that happened, or it's not my fault. Like, just own it.
Yeah, and people are reluctant to apologize because it kind of makes them look bad, they think, or it means that they are just sort of taking responsibility when maybe they don't want to. But an apology can go a long way. People kind of they get their their ires up when something goes wrong and the client says, this got messed up. What happened? Their ire is up. An apology can kind of knock that down a little bit and temper the situation at least a touch.
When I called Coach and Pottery Barn last night, I was worried they were going to accuse me of typing in the order wrong or something, even though I had the order in front of me. Mm-hmm. But instead, they're like, "We are so sorry," and I'm like, "Okay, well, send me a new one."
Yes, you are
all worked out. All right. Well, we're going to take a pause to hear a message from today's show sponsor, and when we return, Chris is going to talk about how to train your customers. Here, boy.
At ASI, we know that education is the key to success, so we're excited to announce our newly reimagined online learning center. Log in and test the all-new intuitive interface. Share photos, stories, and communicate with other ASI members who are learning along with you. Expand your knowledge with wikis, discussion boards, and more than 350 courses, which include valuable marketing and sales information. And for your convenience, the Online Learning Center now uses a single sign-on access like your other ASI services. Best of all, it's free. Become an industry expert and see what's new on the ASI Online Learning Center at www.asicentral.com/online-learning.
Welcome back to ASI's Tuesday Morning Show, where we're also celebrating Festivus today. And Nate, you've been very emphatic that this is an important day, I guess, as a big Seinfeld fan.
It is. I've actually donated money to the Human Fund on behalf of everybody in the room.
Thank you. And now you said this is a time for airing grievances. So what grievance do you have today for us?
Well, my grievance is that...
I have no idea what he's going to say.
I actually have an idea what he's going to say.
I'm concerned.
I think that Andy has been a bit dismissive of my celebration of Festivus throughout this entire process. So I kind of feel a little bit, persecuted.
Now, are you expecting a Festivus miracle of any kind?
That would be great.
All right.
Think about it right now.
We'll handle that offline and see what happens. Okay. This is an interesting topic, Chris. You're going to talk about how to train your customers. Whenever I say that, I think of,
How to train your dragon?
Yeah.
No, I think of training my dog. Like, here, boy. Yeah. Because I'm training my dog. We have he's just over a puppy age now. But to put down his food and have him wait to take it until I give it to him. It's working out quite well.
Is it? Because I struggle with that.
Well, it took about 7 months, but I think we've turned a corner. Anyway, Chris, I think you're talking about a different type of training.
My dog is like a ravenous beast when food comes out.
What does he do with the food after he eats? Is he good? Is he trained well at that part?
Yeah,
or is that part still happening in the house?
She's good with that.
All right. All right. What were we talking? Oh, training your customers. Got it. All right. So the first thing you want to do is you want to talk to your customers. What do they want to better understand about your products, your services, and your processes? It's only kind of through getting a good understanding of maybe where they're not understanding, I guess, how they can work with you, that you can develop a good training program. The next thing you want to do is you want to test any training that you're going to put into place with subject matter experts and very engaged customers with whom you already work with. Once you get their feedback, you can then launch that training more broadly. Another thing you want to do is you want to put feedback mechanisms in place. This basically consists of opening channels for customers to share their comments during or after a training experience. You want to always be kind of looking at your training and recognizing that the marketplace is changing, that processes change, and that you need to always update that training as things evolve. And then basically you want to order or offer carrots and sticks. So you want to give them some incentive for taking the time to do this training. Now, this might not always work within the context of, say, a distributor and client relationship, but it can really work well if a supplier is doing this with their distributors and facilitate things, make orders go quicker. So I think those are some tips suppliers can take to heart.
I think, though, that there is something to be said for distributors educating their customers a little more than they probably already do. I don't know about full-on training courses or what you can do as far as getting them into a room to train them per se, but educating them about the process of how orders work a little bit in this market, the types of suppliers that they deal with, what they do. It doesn't have to be about pricing because you don't want to give away the pricing store, so to speak, but educating clients a little bit on what they can do, can go a long way towards increasing your own revenues. There are some clients that buy that just think that promotional products are pens and T-shirts, and those are staples for sure. But what else could be done? What else in custom products? What else in packaging? There's a lot that clients can do within the promotional industry that they don't necessarily know about. And I think that's on distributors to take the time to educate them a little bit. Now's a sort of perfect time to do that in some ways. If you can reach clients over the next couple of weeks, talk to them about the events that they're planning for Q1 and Q2 of next year, and see how it could be done differently. See how their promotions could be done differently, because then ultimately that can help increase your revenues.
And if that doesn't work, electrodes to keep them in line, basically.
Well, I mean, that's what you do with a dog, so yeah.
No, you don't do that with a dog, silly. You give him a milk bone.
SPCA.
What do you mean you don't?
All right, we'll talk about that after the show.
We have a lot to talk about offline.
We do. Yeah, we've got Nate's grievances with you.
We've got Andy's dog has a couple of grievances with him right now.
Yeah, we've got a lot to accomplish.
Andy's dog could not love Andy anymore. It's amazing.
Even though
it truly is amazing.
You give him shock therapy.
Well, there's
All right, Andy, there's lots of marketing tactics out there, but some are tried and true and stand the test of time. What are those?
That's true. So these are focused in the online and web world, and it's interesting because they look back at the beginning of the 2000s, so the 2000 to 2003 period. What was very popular then, in some ways, is also very popular now. So here's a few things. Search in 2002 was extremely popular, but it's obviously become more popular as that is the gateway that many people use to get onto the internet. Essentially, they go through Google and Yahoo, and then that's how they get to then other stories that they read or sites that they visit. So search is still essentially number one as far as marketing and advertising on the web, and it's only increasing, but it was back then and it is today. The next one is text ads. They're obviously very different than banner ads, but banners and buttons were significantly more popular.
Banners and buttons.
Boop, 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 boop.
I'm not sure what caused you to
it's just a little
to exclaim like that.
It was a little alliteration.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, Chris got it.
There was busy B words happening in the business.
All right. Moving on.
Take that offline too.
While
come on, man, it's 2 days before Christmas. This is devolving quickly.
Text ads were popular back then, and probably even more popular today as people have done less in banners and buttons. You want to say it again?
Badges. Oh, my.
Wow, okay. We've expanded. But they're becoming much more creative in their use of text ads. Google has increased the use of them, obviously. So that's one place that people are still doing very similar things. The last is email lists. Companies certainly use their email lists to extremes. Marketers are still blasting out promotional emails and newsletters and the like. What's different now today and what's better about it is that email lists are significantly more tailored. and targeted than they were, say, 10 to 15 years ago. And that's helped. That's helped marketers just increase open rates, but also send targeted information to the right audience, and that's really helped their marketing efforts. So that's kind of one that, while email is as popular today as it was then, it's more targeted and so more effective today because of the effectiveness.
I think too,
of
people know
targeted
how to use it better nowadays too.
Right.
Like as opposed to just always like blasting out to anyone under the sun. It's
Right.
like you said, they use it more for like targeting current customers and upselling, as opposed to a lot of times prospecting.
Totally.
Yeah, it's gotten
Yeah.
much more sophisticated. Well, we're going to put those tips online at asicentral.com/radio. Nate, it is that time of year when you are working on the Counselor State of the Industry huge
It is.
research project, which results in a fabulous special issue in July, Counselor, that gives people all kinds of data and tips and tactics on how to move their business forward. So why don't you give us an update on that project?
Sure. So what I'd like everybody to do, though, is to keep your eyes out, because there's going to be many different opportunities this year to complete the survey. So if anybody's going to any of the ASI shows, whether in Orlando, which is coming up in about 2 weeks, to all the way through Long Beach, there will be strategically placed throughout the exhibit halls different paper ballots. So you'll have the distributor one and the supplier one. And at each show, if you complete this and you put it in the Dropbox that's there, we will be selecting a winner of an iPad at each show. Additionally, in all Counselor...
Can we win?
You cannot.
You're not eligible.
And additionally, in all Counselor promograms, and also look out for emails from yours truly over the next 2 months, where we'll be looking to complete this and then get it into another edition of the 2015 Counselor State of the Industry.
Okay, and if for some reason people don't see the survey, can they email you,
They
Nate?
can always email me at nkucsma@asicentral.com.
All right, that's an important project, and obviously we need everyone's input and help for this to make this the best state of the industry ever.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the shows, we're a couple of us are getting ready to go to ASI Orlando, but we've got a great speaker lineup. I know we've talked about it here for the keynote speakers for the shows this year. So I'm going to ask each of you who you're most excited to hear. We're starting off in Orlando with Steve Wozniak, all the way through to Chicago, ending with Peyton Manning. So
I'm
Andy,
most interested to talk to Peyton Manning to see why he threw so many interceptions last night.
did the Broncos end up losing?
They did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. When I fell asleep, they were winning.
Oh, yeah.
Ruined
they
your
lost.
fantasy league, huh?
No, it actually didn't. But I just thought it would be funny. to
However,
say.
Peyton Manning did indeed ruin my fantasy
Oh, okay.
team.
Good.
So I would
Good to
also
know.
like to query him on exactly why he decided to not throw the ball well last night.
Okay, so we'll not let you two meet Peyton Manning backstage. Chris, who are you most interested in
I
seeing?
want to meet Peyton Manning.
You
Yeah,
do.
I think.
And
that'd be
you're
really
not
cool.
gonna be antagonistic.
No, I'm just gonna probably like stare wide-eyed and open mouth, and
And you have to yell Omaha.
Yeah,
'cause
I
that's a
just
big
might.
move.
As I'm escorted gently out of the room.
I think Wozniak, though. I think Steve Wozniak is going to be really interesting as well.
Well, he's speaking in Orlando, of course, and Andy, we've had him on the radio show, but you've also interviewed him one-on-one for the magazine. What do you like about him? What do you like about
He's
talking to
a
him?
totally engaging guy, and just as I would describe him as just totally interested. When you're having a conversation with him, he's focused on the conversation and interested in what you're asking him, what you have to say, and he, visionary is it's not really a word I like to use too much because it's kind of trite, but
He really is.
He just looks forward. He has this way about him that he's kind of. The way he talks is just always predicting, and he's looking at what's next. And we have a good Q&A with him in the current issue of Counselor, and he offers up all sorts of ideas about things that he thinks will work and things that won't work, and
he's
as far as
got what a
technology in the
fascinating
future.
story too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm
Totally
excited
fascinating guy.
I'm excited to see him. Of course, in Dallas, we have Lori Greiner from Shark Tank. So she's going to have a lot of great things to say in Long Beach. I'm excited to meet Jillian Michaels from The Biggest Loser, and she's got a lot of great motivational tips and tactics. I mean, she's super motivational.
Is she going to do like push-ups on stage?
I don't know. She could probably kick your butt.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's
I have no doubt about that.
No doubt.
She could beat up any one of us.
You're
I would
just
say.
like statement of fact. Right there.
She's super impressive. In ASI New York, we're having Barbara Corcoran. We've had her before for a few things, and boy, is she a smart.
She's
smart
great.
cookie.
I love her.
I mean, she built her business from nothing into a multi-million or billion business.
I think
corporate
now
group.
it's a
Billion. I
$1 billion
think we're
business. She's
in
not really
billions.
involved anymore, but
No, but she
yeah.
built that empire, and of
Yeah.
course she's on Shark Tank too. So she's really sharp. And then of course we'll finish the year with Peyton Manning, Omaha, in
Omaha.
Chicago. So anyway, to register for any of those shows or to get more information, you can go to asishow.com. All right, we have just enough time to talk about our favorite products of the week. Chris Rufo, what do you have for us?
I have the Evolution bonded soft shell jacket. It features a hood and a bunch of performance features. Think it would be great for anyone from a style-conscious urban startup to even like a mountain resort. So there's a lot of markets you could sell it in. It's available from Landway, and their ASI number is 66238. And you could of course check out the picture of it at asicentral.com.
/radio. Andy Cohn, what's your product?
Mine is a high-end 6-piece knife set. Now I'm having 16 people over at my house on
So you're gonna
Thursday, so I'm going to need 10
Calm
more
down,
of those.
Andy. Calm down.
I'm going to need 10 more of those knives. But these are really high-end and very cool, and the box and the packaging can be imprinted. So check it out now online at asicentral.com/radio. It comes from Wine Appreciation Guild, which is ASI 97292.
All right, Nate, what do you have?
And finally, we've always heard about power banks. I've heard Joe talk about it all the time on this. But one thing that I've always found is I ruin them. I ruin things because I get them wet. I drop them. I always do.
Well, that's why you've never had a nice phone, you said.
Yes, and I actually do have one, and I kind of ruined that this past weekend.
What did you do?
I don't want to go into it right now. That's another offline
He
conversation.
dropped it in the toilet.
Not quite, but close. So, one of the things that I found here
Good
is
call.
from ASI Tech Company, and it's a water-resistant power bank. So it's ideal so
For
that if
people
you
like
For
take it-
people like you.
for people like me, so that if you take it to the beach or the pool, and when you
Are you a klutz? Try this.
drop this, it will still continue to work. And so if you don't drop your phone at the same time, everything's still good. And it is from, again, ASI Tech Company, ASI number 30537.
All right. Well, check those products out online at asicentral.com/radio. We are out of time, guys. Thanks to everyone for listening, and thanks everyone. Have a great holiday week, and we'll talk to you next week right before the new year. Yay. Happy holidays.